welcome to Gen Friends. I'm your host, Cheri Hudson-Passy, and as you can see, Dan is back tonight. We have missed his craziness altogether. Craziness. We have missed you being here. So we have
I
Mr.
think the
Dan.
words you were looking for are big dumb face. So
His big we have missed his big dumb face. He hasn't been able to come for a while. He's had some family things going on, and we've all got lives, but we come when we can. But Dan Earl, our family history guy, is here. Hi, Dan. It really is so good to see you.
glad to be back.
Glad you're back too. We have Miss Melissa Barker. Melissa Barker. It's not going to be a good night, I can tell. Our archive lady. Hi, Melissa.
Hey, everybody.
I'm so glad you're here as well. You guys, if it wasn't for this panel, I don't know. I need somebody to keep me straight. Mary Kircher Roddy is here, and Mary is representing not only her blog, MKR Genealogy, and her genealogy business, but the Applied Genealogy Institute as well, where she teaches courses, and they've got some new classes coming up for the spring. So if you will look, you'll see that links to everybody's stuff are all in our posts, so you can find out what everybody is doing. And last but not least, she's down at the bottom of my screen. I don't know where she is on your screen. Is Laura Hedgecock from Treasure Chests of Memories. Hey, Laura.
Hi. Hey, I think Mary, well, not Mary has an announcement, but we've heard an announcement about Mary that we should talk about.
Yes, we should. Mary,
Why
you just
don't you say that, Cheri.
let's brag on our Mary. Mary, you just won an award from APG, the Association of Professional Genealogists. Woohoo! Tell us what the
Thank
award
you.
was.
It was the Kathleen W. Hinckley Professional Achievement Award.
So well deserved.
And I was so excited to.
Does it come with
be
hardware?
awarded. Yes, there's a plaque, and I think it's out in my dining room right now. So, but yes, it has a nice plaque, and it used to just be called the Professional Achievement Award, and last year they awarded it to Kathy, and they renamed it in her honor. So I'm the first person that got it with the Kathy name on it. So I'm like super excited because I worked with Kathy. She was executive director when I was treasurer for APG, and I could not have gotten through without her. So
she worked for APG for a long time.
7 years, I think.
And she retired. It's not like she died.
Yes.
So we just want to make sure. She's still around. But she just retired from that position. So congratulations, Mary.
Thank you.
That's wonderful. That is wonderful. Well, tonight we have decided as we're recording this, we're in the midst, in the thick of the holiday season. And we thought it might be a fun idea to share some of our holiday recipes, maybe just a miniature Gen Friends cookbook. And we will put the recipes in the blog post and on the YouTube post as well. But I also want to remind everybody that Roots Tech is putting together a global family cookbook. And so I will put the link to that. You can still add your recipes to that. So let's help out with that cookbook and help Roots Tech come up with this great big huge cookbook that everybody will be able to purchase. I know that they are debating whether to have it all in a PDF form online or regular books, and a lot of us voted for, hey, no, we want regular books. We want to hold that book in our hands. So we will update you when that's available and how they've decided to disperse it to everybody. So alrighty. Recipe time, people. Recipe time. Who would like to go first? I want you to tell me why you chose the recipe and what significance, if any, it means to your family. It could just be we like it. So I brought the recipe, we eat it, and that's fine too. Who'd like to go first?
Go ahead, Mary.
Go.
I have a recipe that my mother used to make, and we didn't really eat it for holidays, but it's really my kind of go-to special occasion dinner. It's called Elinor's dish. My mother's best friend was a woman named Elinor Evans. And my little sister's middle name is Elinor after Elinor.
That makes it even more special.
I know. And it's a curry dish, pretty light on the curry. But I loved it when I was a kid because we'd have all these little dishes that, that you could spoon the toppings on.
Mhm.
It's, it's like an ice cream sundae bar for dinner kind of, but
Oh,
there's like,
wow.
coconut and peanuts and candied ginger and pineapple
Oh,
and
wow.
cranberries and
Was it a
bananas.
dessert or?
So it's my mom would do like a tray. No, it's a dinner thing. I mean, it's
Okay.
a main dish, but and lots of curries. You put sprinkle things on top of them. So, we'd have a tray of this stuff, and little kids just love a little spoon and get to
Oh, of
play with
course.
it. So, and when I was a child, I could chop the peanuts. I mean, I still remember
Oh,
my
that was your
mother's nut
job. Oh,
chopper,
okay.
and I could
Yeah.
slice the bananas, and I could do the different things to put them in the dishes to help my mom. So it it really is a very special dish. I had all my siblings came one time to my cabin just for a weekend, and
Uh-huh.
from out of town and whatever. And we were all together, so I made Elinor's dish for everybody just to
Oh,
remember our mom, and that
oh,
was really
yeah.
special. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, it's really a pretty easy to make, and I had my kids don't like turkey, and normally I would cook a turkey for Thanksgiving, but I'm thinking, well, they'll just roll their eyes at me. So maybe I'll make Ella, I thought
There you
today
go.
I could make Eleanor's dish for
Exactly.
Christmas dinner, and I think everybody would really
Exactly.
like that. So
Exactly. We've actually had at different times and different things were going on, like right after my dad passed away, or when my mother ended up in a nursing home, and then at my house, nobody wanted to cook a lot, but what they wanted were the things like that. They wanted like the side dishes. Let's just have some side dishes, you know?
yeah,
So we had meals of those or appetizers that everybody wanted and remembered. And so sometimes you can take those big meals and break them down into just special things just to eat just because. And so
yeah.
I like that with your Eleanor's dish. Yeah.
One time, as I said, it's my special occasion dish. And my
Mhm.
husband, when he was in graduate school, his supervising professor, we invited Jack and his wife Lois to come to dinner. Um, and I was not, I'd only been married a couple years. I was pretty young. And she walks in the house and says, "Oh, curry. I'm allergic to curry." I mean, she could smell
Oh,
the curry. And so at that
oh,
point, I learned the lesson that, to always ask my
always
guests,
ask.
are there any dietary restrictions? But
Yes.
I was young and
Oh,
naive and didn't know
but it
such
was your
things.
special, it was your dish.
I know.
Dish.
So
Oh,
anyway,
well, it
she was
sounds
very gracious
delicious.
about it, but um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Sounds delicious. It reminds me of Hawaiian haystacks, but with curries, you know,
yeah.
where you take the chicken and the broth and then you dump pineapple or coconut or whatever it is, vegetables, whatever's in the fridge.
Yeah.
You just dump it on there. So, and cheese and whatever. So I know there's a lot of different examples of that type of, but I haven't heard it with the curry before. So that sounds wonderful. And you said cranberries, anything with
Yeah,
cranberries has got me.
chopped cranberries.
I love
Yeah,
cranberries.
just it's lots of good things on it, and you
Yeah.
get to take what you want.
Yeah, good. I can't wait to see the recipe for that. Like I said, we're gonna put the recipes in the blog post and on the YouTube, the notes on our YouTube channel. So
I can't
you
wait
can
to
click.
try that.
Yeah, doesn't that sound good? That sounds good. All right, Mary, not Mary, you just said
Yeah.
Melissa, did you want to go next?
Melissa.
Yeah,
Melissa.
I'll go next, and I must tell you right off the top of the bat, I don't have any recipes, because I don't cook. So I'm going to give you a story that happens probably in a lot of families.
Yeah,
I can cook, I just hate to cook, and so
I
my
gotcha.
husband cooks.
So let's
But
be honest.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so we made a deal a long time ago. He cooks, I clean. It works perfectly for us for 35
Oh,
years.
I
So
love it.
um, one of the things, and this is great for genealogy, I think, in our families. My family is from up north, and my husband's
Hmm.
family is from the south. And so
Yes.
we run into a lot of different times whenever it's like, oh, no, you don't make it that way. We make it this way. Okay.
Well, you call it one thing, not the other, right? It's stuffing or dressing.
So when it comes to Thanksgiving and Christmas, we make dressing. Both of our families make dressing to go with our
Okay.
ham, our turkey,
Yep.
whatever. Well, my family makes dressing different than his family makes dressing.
Yes.
My family, and I don't know if this is a northern thing. I think it's a northern thing because my family's from the north, and this is what they make. They make what is called white bread dressing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, my husband's family in the South makes cornbread dressing.
Cornbread dressing.
And my husband makes the best cornbread dressing.
Yeah.
So when we got married, he would not eat it. He still will not eat. And my brother, my dad and my mom, and they continued the tradition, has made it. Now they're past my dad taught my brother how to make the white bread dressing. So he makes it every year and brings it. And my husband refuses to eat it. But it's just those kinds of things in our families where it's different.
It's different. Yep.
Yeah.
And it's not the holiday if you don't get it, right?
Right.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
And we have the same issue with chicken and dumplings.
Oh, yeah.
My family makes chicken and dumplings with the big biscuit type dumplings. And in the South, they make the long noodle looking dumplings. So, and I think we run into that with our families. One, or maybe it's out west, they do it this way. And on the East Coast,
they don't do it
this
at
way.
all.
Right.
Or they just don't do it
Chicken
at all.
and dumplings is not a thing in California.
So I think that's one thing as genealogists can look at it when we're looking like at recipes, but think about family traditions. I do a whole presentation and it's on legacy on dragon genealogy, getting together. It's called Family Gatherings, Dragon Genealogy. And I talk about using recipes to getting your family to talk. Smells and tastes will trigger your family members. Don't ask them questions, because then they'll just block out. But make that favorite dish for the next event, or bring the recipes out and start talking about them. And I guarantee you they will start talking about the people who made the food. And then they'll remember another story. And then they'll remember another story.
And see, they don't even know you're doing it to them.
No, they don't even no.
It's just that subtle, as they start to breathe in those smells, they start
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really good tool to use when we're with family.
Now, Melissa, you had something that came in the mail today, didn't you?
Oh.
I wanted you to show.
Well, I thought it was interesting. I got my letter from the National Archives Foundation. I'm a member of the National Archives Foundation. And so what they sent me was a copy of, I don't know if you all can see it, like that.
A little bit.
It says, as you prepare for your holiday menus, please enjoy the enclosed recipe we found in the holdings of the National Archives. It was published by the United States Food Administration in 1918.
So cool.
And it's potato possibilities. And of course, you have to remember 1918, okay? And it says the potato is as truly as bread may be called a staff of life. And it talks about, but it gives you recipes. It's potato cornbread, potato cornmeal rolls, potato spoon bread, and potato steamed bread. So
very interesting.
That was pretty cool to get that in the mail
today.
Cool.
And we were going to talk about this.
Yeah.
And go ahead, Mary.
Are you passing it on to your husband? Here, make this, honey.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm having a Christmas event. We're having our historical society Christmas dinner. And so I come home and I say, okay, what are you making for me to take?
For me to take. That's so funny. We were also talking about looking in newspapers. So when you're doing your family research, look at the recipes that are in the newspapers. It's just so much fun to be able to.
I don't know about other parts of the country. So I never know if this is a Southern thing, but in the South, when they have like a whole section, a Christmas recipe section, but they'll put people's names in there who submitted the recipes.
Yes.
So it's a great place to find. And Mary Roddy does an excellent presentation on newspapers. And so if you haven't seen that, please go find it and watch it.
Yep.
And tons of churches used to do it too.
Yes.
If you look in my mother-in-law's shelves, you can see the different churches she attended over time. And there's a recipe book from each congregation.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the schools. There was one from the school I grew up with Mothers in the Kitchen, and then the sequel, Mothers in the Kitchen again.
I was just going to say the sequel, Mother's no longer in the kitchen.
Mother retired from the kitchen. Now Father's in the kitchen. Yeah.
Someone else in the kitchen and Mom's out having fun. Well, listen, mine kind of is similar to you. So my recipe that I wanted to talk about comes from my mother-in-law, basically because my dad's mom wasn't much of a cook. She mostly just cooked meat and spinach and stuff, and then she would tell you what part of the animal the meat came from while you were trying to eat the overcooked meat. And my but
Oh,
good family
she meant well. She was trying to educate you.
yeah, good family. And then my dad would tell me, oh, spinach is grass that cows have already eaten once, or so I never really enjoyed eating it. My grandmother's.
I wonder why.
My other grandmother was a great cook, but my mom didn't really love it. You know, she always thought cooking, she was always stressed out with cooking. But what was interesting to me, Matt's mom's favorite, well, the thing that was his favorite from hers is at Christmas time, she'd make these things called hermit bars. And it's similar to a gingerbread, but a little spicier. And they're bars like like a brownie or kind of thing. They're kind of cake-like. But what's interesting is hermit bars are a traditional New England treat. And Matt's mom is Midwest. Like, I have one maybe person that's a Tufts that's related to her, maybe related to her in New York, but never have proven it. So it's just kind of interesting how this hermit bar came in. But
could be a newspaper, could have been a church social, could have been a neighbor.
Yeah. So she doesn't remember. And so she hasn't been cooking them. So I started making them. And I looked it up on the internet, and and I was just looking at it, and I told my husband, like, I have walnuts. Should I add walnuts? And he's like, walnuts aren't in hermit bars. But then I made a lemon glaze for it, which he did love. But then my mom was like, you did what?
Don't mess with the recipe.
So I have, my sister-in-law is actually looking for my mother-in-law's actual recipe. Otherwise, I cobbled together a few that I've just used internet searches to
find. Do you find that though? People will make a little twist or something to the recipe, and then everybody's like, because it's got to be. I mean, it still could taste good, but I know everybody wants it the same. This is the way we've always eaten it. Don't do that. Don't change brands of anything. You just make it.
Well, and a little bit of like what Melissa was saying. Our olfactory bulbs that go up to our sense of smell in the brain, they're actually go to our emotional centers in the brain. So that they do evoke memories, but I think there's the consistency, and so then, like, if there's a walnut that doesn't belong in that memory,
exactly, we can't handle it. I remember once that somebody brought a traditional dish to like Thanksgiving or something like that, and they had substituted and didn't add one ingredient. And my mom and I both knew it, but didn't say anything. We weren't gonna say anything and embarrass anybody, but they were going around saying, I didn't put this in there and nobody noticed. See, it was just fine. And we're like, I only noticed. We just didn't
just
say
too polite to say so.
Because you just ruined the whole dish for us.
And Melissa, my mom and her siblings grew up in Virginia. Mom raised me in South Carolina. Aunt Nancy was in Georgia. Aunt Nancy made cornbread stuffing, and my mom made the white bread. And mom's wasn't as moist. Like it was like a little thing of cake. I finally asked my Uncle Joe why Aunt Nancy and my mom didn't have the same family recipe for Thanksgiving. And he just looks at me. He said, we raised hogs. They didn't make turkeys until they left home.
Oh, that's too funny. That's too funny. My mom always made the white bread, and I don't know why, because she was born bred Southerner. It must have been something with my dad
I don't
being
think it's a Southern
military.
rule that it has to be cornbread.
It must not be because my grandmother didn't, my mom didn't. But when my oldest daughter got married, her husband was used to the cornbread stuffing. So my sweet mom would make both and put it in a big dish. So half the dish was the white stuffing and then dressing as she calls it, and then the
Ours is
cornbread.
dressing.
Yeah, but cornbread dressing. So, but I like them both. If they're cooked well, I like them both. So I just throw a lot of gravy, a lot of cranberry sauce on there, and I'm all good. So,
So
but
the real question though is with your white bread dressing,
mhm.
do you put meat in it? And if so,
No,
what kind of meat?
no,
No,
but I
okay,
do
look,
know
No
people,
meat.
but I do know
all of
people
you
that
are
do.
collectively wrong. The correct answer
Wait, my
the
mom
correct
put,
answer is sausage. You put sausage in
Oh.
oh,
the
no,
dressing.
my mom made a giblet gravy.
Yeah,
And she
giblet
also,
gravy's
Yeah,
good. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I've done that before, but no.
but
Some cooked sausage goes into the white bread dressing. That's what we do. And we call it stuffing, so it just goes into the stuffing.
Yeah.
and what heritage is that?
My mom.
Okay, good. Hungarian?
Sure.
No, I'm just
I
asking because
I
to
think
me
it's just a
there was no sausage at Thanksgiving. So
so I'm completely disillusioned that any recipes that I have come down from anything other than the back of a box. So
you may be right.
so my grandmother used to make I mean literally like cases of cookies and treats and bars and things when she'd come down for Christmas, and she'd stay with us for a couple of weeks. And I always thought, man, this is like this is it. These are family recipes. And then when my wife and I got married, my mom made a cookbook for my wife, right? And all of those were just cut out from a newspaper or cut out from a magazine article. My entire childhood was just from Betty Crocker magazines. And so none of this is real. Like none is I'm living in like the holiday matrix. Like none of it is real. It's just all stuff that people in a test kitchen came up with. Like has no bearing on anything. And so that's my holiday tradition, right?
So,
Is
but are
you know
you
what,
passing
though?
them down?
what's that? Oh, of course. Yeah, my kids know the only true and living way to have stuffing is with sausage in it.
And but I think that's the way for a lot of us.
Yeah.
There is no rhyme or reason for what people ate, except for, for me on New Year's Day, you've got to have your greens and your ham and your black-eyed peas. I mean, you just gotta. I mean, that's just Laura. You know what I'm talking about. You got to have good luck. You've got to have money in your future. That's just what you do on New
Oh,
Year's
see,
Day. So
we always, because we were watching bowl games, we always just had like finger foods and
yeah,
snacks.
yeah.
And so I mean it was like a 24-hour marathon of fried foods, dips, different kinds of chips,
Yeah,
and just watching college football.
yeah,
And that was sort of our New
yeah.
Year's tradition. And my
Nothing wrong
wife
with
got
that.
on board with that real fast.
I'll bet
And
because it's easy.
yeah, because her family tradition was like beef Wellington or something,
Oh
and she's just
gosh.
like, throw some jalapeno poppers in the oven. Yes, that's a tradition we're going with. And
I
so
love
we
it.
just so like this is the time of year we clear out our big chest freezer so we can start filling it with fried stuff. So fried mushrooms and pickles, just all the stuff from the store. So we'll have the oven going. We've got the air fryer going. We're just like it's like we're
I
running a
love
kitchen in our kitchen, like a commercial kitchen, and we're just like pulling stuff out of the fryer, pulling stuff out of the oven.
Yeah,
We
but
have
that's
friends.
how traditions are made. That's how food traditions are made.
Yeah.
So we will on Christmas Eve, and I don't even know when this started. We do the same kind of thing. It's not a lot of the fried pre-made stuff that I make, but it's all appetizers because the kids are just running around. We always had them make gingerbread houses out of graham crackers. They would sit there and build their little uh gingerbread. So really they're graham cracker bread. They're not gingerbread. But and do that, give them something to do. And then we would have a whole bunch of different appetizers. And I told the kids, I said, which one do you guys want me to share? And they said, there's too many of them. I don't know. So the one that they chose for me to share, because we did a lot, spinach dip bowls and just like a really good 7-layer dip that we've always made, and just a whole bunch of different things. The little tiny cherry tomatoes, and do you know how long it takes to take a cherry tomato and empty it out so that you can then fill it up with, with
That's why we
bacon
do
and
store-bought.
and mayonnaise and their little BLT bites, just all sorts of appetizers like that we'll do. And then that's what they eat. And then we'd have a little Christmas program, and we'd have, cookies and all kinds of stuff like that, and then to bed. But anyway, so they wanted me to do it's called ramaki, and it's really funny because one of my daughters never, and she's old enough to know better now, but she always calls it something strange every time. She can't remember. It's called ramaki, and it's just water chestnuts, and you wrap them in bacon. And then there's a sauce with let's see, dry mustard and pineapple juice and Worcestershire sauce, Worcestershire
What's the spear sauce? What's the spear sauce?
and brown sugar and some ketchup, and you just let it bake till it's just the bacon's just crispy, and you put a toothpick in it, so it holds it all together. But they love that. They really love that. So the year after we moved out here, we had to move out here because my husband had lost his job years and years ago, and we were living with my mom and dad, and the kids came out to see us, and it wasn't even Christmas. It wasn't even Thanksgiving. It wasn't even a holiday. They said, you know what we're doing? We're going to the store and we're buying all of our foods, all of our appetizers that we have for Christmas Eve, and we are going to have a family party. And they did, and they made all the stuff that we would make, and had it set out on the table. And it was just wonderful because it was not really about the food, but it was about those memories that all that food. And we hadn't been together for a while, and we've been through a couple of crises, and it was just bonding and healing that we could be together eating this food and telling stories. But Mary was right, and Melissa, whichever one of you was talking about pulling out those foods and the smells and all that, just start bringing back family memories. Yeah, that's a great time I found to set out like a tape recorder, or turn on your phone recorder where people don't know you're recording them, because the food does bring out those memories, and get them right there on the tape, those honest to goodness memories of so and so making this food, or do you remember when we ate this food, this pie, and I shoved your face in it, that kind of you get that kind of stuff on your recording. And so that was a really sweet memory. So I pulled them all. I said, which one? And this one, they really love this one. So, but I think stuffed mushrooms, I do spinach balls, it's just the whole kitchen is full of. And then we got the real junk food for the grandkids, because they just want chip and dip, right? You want candy canes. I've always got a tree in my kitchen for Christmas that has candy canes and popcorn balls and things that they can just, anytime they come over, they can just grab off. It's just the kitchen tree. They can just grab the food off the kitchen tree. So, but yeah, so that's just been one of our, and cookies. Some years I bake the cookies, I wrap them up, and I put them on the tree. Some years I go to Walmart. I say, those look really good. I wrap them up, I put them on the tree, because they don't know the difference. So, but it's just all about making those kind of memories.
And there's a really good gift idea too. One of the things that I told you, my husband is the cook in the family. So
yes,
his mother was very, very smart and taught him to cook and to clean and to everything. Because
good woman.
I didn't do anything anyway. So, but when we got married, for that Christmas, she gave him a recipe, a handmade recipe book. And it had all all his favorite recipes and recipes from the family. But what she did extra is that she put a little paragraph before each recipe, and she talks about where she got the recipe, what the family was doing at the time that she got the recipe. Did she get it from this church member? Did she get it from another family member? Talked because they lived in Michigan sometime, and sometimes they lived in Tennessee. And they said, well, we were in Michigan and we were attending this church, and this lady gave the name that she had this recipe, and I got the recipe. She did a whole cookbook of that and gave it to him. So, and he's been adding to it his own recipes. And my
Yes.
daughter is also a fantastic cook. She's a baker. She has her own bakery business.
Ah,
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't get any of that. So, but it was so, but they come up with their own recipes and they add to that book
oh,
because
I
it's
love
yeah,
that.
because it's a 3-ring binder recipe book. So they
Yeah,
they've been adding to it over the years. So it's really cool.
that
So-
is amazing.
So I have a question for all y'all that cook. Do your kids cook with you? Or is it
It depends on the kid. It depends on the kid. Let me tell you, I've got a son, Kevin, who
don't name him by name?
he just it's okay. Kev needs to be named by name on this one. He when he was old enough, I mean, he started cooking when he was little, just loved it. He's got the burn marks. Like we had a double oven and he went and and burned his chin from pulling something out of the top. I mean, Kevin's got burn marks everywhere from cooking. In the summer, we used to do things like every day would be something, today's pool day, today's water park day, today's go to the beach day, today is sit and clean up the house day. They had a cooking with Kevin day. And they even made aprons. We made them, it said cooking with Kevin, and he would take the kids in the kitchen and I could just relax and he would teach them how to cook something, and now the siblings that paid attention to him, that didn't mock him, that were, they actually paid attention, they're good cooks themselves because they learned from Kev. So he still loves to cook. He's always messing around with something, trying to create a new recipe. So yeah. So some of my kids cook, and some of them cook better than others. Some of them just open up the box of macaroni and cheese and but we haven't heard from Dan. Dan, I want to hear about some of your recipes, other than the
that's
fact that they
right.
came off the.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, it just kind of the only one and the recipe is of unknown provenance, so I don't know where my mom got the recipe, but there's only one acceptable way to make baked beans for Christmas.
Uh-oh.
And that is my mom's way. And
Okay.
so my my wife had to learn very
Now, see,
carefully.
I've never had baked beans for Christmas,
Yeah,
so
it takes
for
it takes a
Christmas.
good 6 hours
Yeah.
to make them in the oven, because the first hour it's covered and you're at one temperature, then you have to lower the temperature and then uncover it. I mean, the recipe is very specific.
yeah.
I mean, it is there are chemical formulas that are less complex than this recipe, but the product is so good, right?
Yeah, my mom's got a baked bean recipe like that too,
Yeah.
that it's just unbelievably good.
I used to take them to school like after Christmas break, and
Uh-huh.
I would take them, and when they're cold, they get sort of like more solid, and so
Yeah.
I would take them and I'd spread them on white bread with a little bit of mustard and make a baked bean sandwich. And they
Wow.
were so good, I would sell them for $2. And so
Now,
my mom knew that. And so she'd make like 2 big pans of it, so that way we could sell the sandwiches bootleg at the school, and make some money. And we're
so
two
is
$2 a
it like,
sandwich.
is it a locked, I mean, are you allowed to share that recipe or?
Oh yeah, there is zero
You don't-
ketchup. Like that's
Oh.
the secret, is there's no ketchup involved. It's all onions,
Oh.
mustard, and brown sugar.
Oh, okay.
That's
And
good.
yeah, and it is absolutely just fantastic. It takes
Yeah.
a
And then
very
you
long
cook them
time to do.
forever and you cook them forever. My
Yeah.
mom's has the same thing, except for she does have the ketchup, but it
Yeah.
cooks forever and ever and ever. And then there's a layer of bacon on top of my
Oh,
mom's.
see, no.
Yeah.
No. Heresy. Heresy, I say.
Not for a Southern
Bacon
woman.
and ketchup.
Not for it. No,
Turn
not
it
for a
into
Southern woman.
BLT? What's
Yeah,
these are
not for
baked
a Southern
beans.
woman.
Yeah.
So funny.
And so
Not
that's
making
really
the ginger ham.
like the real, like for me, like if we're gonna, and we have the same baked beans at Easter, so they're just sort of like Christian holiday beans. And like I don't know what, if Jesus liked beans or something, but like that's the tradition. I don't know, but like but we have them at Easter and Christmas. We do not have them at Thanksgiving, just Easter and Christmas, and they are the kids look forward to it. I look forward to
Yeah.
it for weeks afterwards because I can have baked bean
Yeah,
sandwiches.
sandwiches. Exactly.
4th of July.
See, that's when
No.
we had them all summer long. That this was
No,
a summer
yeah,
thing for
no.
us. Yeah.
If I'm doing them in the summer, like if we're having like a grill out or something like that, it's just I just buy a can of Bushes, and that's all I need to do. But for the holidays, I mean, it deserves something special, and it
I
deserves
gotcha.
6 hours of my time, um, just carefully managed, because every 45 minutes, not an hour or 30 minutes, that would
Yeah.
be even increments, but every 45
Yeah.
minutes has to be pulled out of the oven and gently stirred, being careful not to touch the edges, because otherwise the crust will not
Yes.
form properly. You need to have
That's
this
right.
crust,
You
and the
got to have
crust
the
gets
crust on your
slightly
baked
larger, like the rings of a tree, as the cooking
bean.
process goes. And so it's very specific.
I love it.
You
I
should make
love
a
it.
video of this.
Yeah, yeah. I want,
Maybe a
yeah.
time-lapse video.
Yeah.
A
Time-lapse
time-lapse
video,
video. Yeah,
6 hours later, seven
yeah,
hours
that
if you
would
count like the opening up cans of already cooked beans and draining them, dumping them in, adding the good stuff.
Okay, you know what else I wanted you to talk to us about
Yeah.
is your tradition of honoring your Jewish heritage.
Yes.
Yeah.
So obviously we celebrated Christmas growing up. And but recently, within the last few years, I found out that my mom's mom was
Okay.
Jewish. Okay, so it's in the, you can all picture the B1 at the Family History Library, the international section. I was down there. I found the church book for the town that they were from. This town in what's now Serbia, called Sabatica.
Mhm.
But I open it up. It's the Catholic Church records, and I find her parents,
Mhm.
and then next to the wife's name, so my great 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 grandmother, it said Juden, right, and it was
Oh, wow.
circled.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she had her kids raised Catholic, because in the Austria-Hungarian Empire at the time there was freedom of religion, but some religions were more free than others, and
Yeah. Yeah.
Catholics and what they called evangelicals, which we would just call Protestant Christians, had the most amount of freedom and the least amount of restrictions.
Mhm.
And so we don't know. There was no existing writing as to why she chose to have her kids raised Catholic. That sort of goes against tradition, which would be that the religion is inherited from the mom.
Mhm.
So she obviously had to have reasons for that. She,
Yeah.
best as I could tell, there's no baptism record for her, so it's not like she converted to Christianity.
Hmm.
All of her kids' baptismal records list her as Jewish. And so
Interesting.
there was no
Was
conversion for her.
was
So
she married in the Catholic Church?
yes.
Because see, that's the rule.
Okay.
You can't when as part of the deal for getting married in the Catholic Church, you agree to raise your children Catholic.
Okay.
So
that,
it
yeah.
doesn't matter. So that would be why. I mean, her
Okay.
husband said we're getting married in this church, and she agreed to it, but the priest then says you're doing this, and you
Right.
have
Well,
to do
yeah,
that.
but
So
Sabatica had one of the largest Jewish populations in that part of the world, so they easily could have gone to her rabbi, and it would have been the opposite, right? So there was obviously a decision
right.
that was made with that couple, and what that decision is, we don't really know. But
you said it
um,
wasn't a Catholic church. You said it was evangelical.
no, so there was Catholic church records, and then there was evangelical, or
Okay.
the Protestant
Okay.
ones, and so the synagogue records are either non-existent. They were either destroyed by the Nazis as they came through, or they're just not available, unless you're there. And so anyway, that's a long way around to the story. So as a way to kind of teach my kids about their heritage, we decided as a family to start celebrating Hanukkah.
Okay,
for
that's
a number of
wonderful.
reasons. It's not a major holiday in Judaism. It's a minor holiday, and so I feel less bad about doing it, right, and observing some of the traditions, since we're not practicing Jewish. And so we have a Hanukkah, which is the menorah that has eight, well, nine if you count the one for the shamash, but like the eight candles, and it's just the larger candelabra. So we have that, and we light the candles each night, and we the first night we eat fried food. So part of the traditions of Hanukkah is eat foods fried in oil.
Mm-hmm.
Jelly donuts are more traditional, but we go with apple fritters.
Sounds great.
Yeah, because we like it. And a lot of people will make potato pancakes
Yeah.
as a part of that. I've never been able to, one, get it right,
Yeah.
and two, make them in a way that doesn't make me want to scream and throw the pan out the window. Because I can never get the oil the right temperature, either burning half of the potato pancakes, or some of them are still like raw on the inside. And so to ease my frustration, we just will have like chicken nuggets or something that's
Yeah.
still fried,
Whatever.
right? So it's still fried
Yeah.
in oil. This year we had
Yeah.
jalapeno poppers and taquitos.
Oh, fun.
So Feliz Hanukkah. And so we just did that, and we just, but it's for us, it's a way to talk to our kids about
Yeah.
things like anti-Semitism and how
Right.
anti-anybodyism is stupid.
Right. Yeah.
And it's, and we can talk about the traditions of Hanukkah. We can talk about the reasons for Hanukkah, like what it's actually about. It is also fun to confuse their first grade teachers, because like Hanukkah, but you're talking about Christmas, and they get all confused. And we always get an email asking for clarification so they don't offend. And so it's always fun. My wife always answers it before I can, because she knows I'll give some screwball answer. And but anyway, and so that's so we do that just as a added holiday thing this time of year. In addition to our family Christmas celebrations and New Year's celebrations, we add Hanukkah to that as a way to kind of honor our ancestor that, in a
Yeah.
way gave up generational Judaism,
Right.
for whatever the reason, and as a way for her to know that some of her descendants still remember her.
I think that's beautiful. I really think that's beautiful. And I know people that will do that. They will choose a day or whatever and honor their Irish ancestors or their Scottish ancestors or whatever it may be. They will do that so they can teach their children about their ancestors and do it through food, because a lot of times that's just a good way to do, just through food. So I love that, Dan. Thanks for coming and sharing that. That was beautiful. I really love that. Um, oh, oh, okay. There was a note. Is that was a reminder for later or for now? Okay. So I was like, what am I missing? Is anybody else, have you done something like that? Have you had a type of feast or some type of food to teach your kids or teach somebody about your ancestors or where they came from?
I had I could find it for you. I had a guest poster who's from a big Italian family. She did one for me for Easter because she was talking about learning elbow to elbow, learning recipes elbow to elbow, and
Oh,
working
yes.
with and having multiple generations in the kitchen to
Yeah.
to learn it that way. It's
Uh-huh.
something I never had. I thought it was really beautiful. So I'll find you.
Yeah.
Well, the reason why I don't cook or hate to cook or not very good cook is because my grandmother lived with me since I was with our family since I was 3 years old. My grandfather died when I was 3 in 1972. And then she
Mm-hmm.
lived with us all the way till she died a couple of months after I married. So that shows you she was in the household.
Oh, yeah.
And she was one of those cooks. She was a fantastic cook, but she was one of those cooks that when she tried, bless her heart, she tried to teach me to cook. But whenever I would get into the kitchen and I would try and she would try to teach me, she would get frustrated and she'd say, never mind, go ahead. I'll just do it myself. You know, she just wasn't a teacher that way. So she had a hard time. So I never learned to cook.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's
I think that's why I was going with earlier asking y'all about, because I've seen throughout my family different people where the the cook, unless they really loved it, the cook often was missing out on the holiday. And there were
yes.
people
Yeah.
coming in the kitchen for a while to help, and then other
Yeah.
people are out, building the Lego sets or doing
Right.
whatever.
Right. We finally got Laura, once I started teaching my kids how to make, the boys and girls, how to make the different things that we would always eat. And so then they just got assigned out. Okay, you're gonna make this, you're gonna make this, you're gonna make this. And still to today, when we get together, the boys are so far away that most of the time they're not with us, but the girls that live here, they already know what they make because those were the recipes that they were taught. I even went so far as taught my kids to make the breakfast foods, so like on a Monday morning, one of the boys would get up and it was his turn to make pancakes. And the next boy or girl, whatever, they'd go down the line. Tuesday, you make scrambled eggs for everybody. And the next morning, we're going to have waffles. So you're going to learn to do the waffles. And then once they learned it, then they swapped and, learned everything else. And so it helped me with a large family, not always having to be the one in there cooking, because they learned how to cook and then now they know how to cook. They can feed themselves. So
I taught my kids to cook, and I mean when they were in high
yeah.
school, and I mean not a lot, but it's like you're gonna have house guests at some point. So
Yes.
you need to be able to, cook 2 dinners, and they'll
Yeah.
take you out for the third, but you got to have
There
at
you
least a
go.
couple of
There you
things that
go.
you can make.
Yeah.
And we have some exotic grocery stores in Seattle just because of the
Oh,
Pacific culture. So something like a
yeah.
Wajimaya that would have, they would want to make sushi all the time. It's like, no,
Yeah.
it has to be ingredients that you can find at a Safeway in Kansas City. I mean,
There you go.
and
That's more of a challenge, huh?
yeah, so just basic fare kind of, but at least
Yeah.
that you would be able to cook. And my daughter Emmeline really took to it. She actually worked at a homeless shelter for a couple of
Oh,
years,
yeah.
and they would get whatever donated food or food bank kind of
Mhm.
food they could get, and the people were just amazed at what Emmeline could do
Yeah.
with
With
the
basic
ingredients
nothing.
that she had, and
That's wonderful.
make it delicious and something that people look forward to.
Yeah. Dan?
So we have, it's not really a holiday tradition, but we do experimental pizza night, where we just either get pre-made crusts or we'll get the rolled crusts, because remember we most of our traditions come from Walmart, and just like roll them out on a sheet pan. And then the kids just go bonkers. Like they'll tell me
Oh, I
like,
bet.
hey Dad, when you go to the store, we want to do this. So we've had like Mexican street corn pizza. We've had shrimp and artichoke dip pizza. We've had, I mean,
Oh, that
just
sounds good.
like pretzel and cheese dip pizza. That was
Yeah.
the pretzels got too hard. But like there's just like and they just come up with, and some of them are real hard misses. But some of
Yeah.
them end up being really good.
That's
Where we were
so
like, oh
fun.
wow. And so like we try to teach our kids to be creative in how they
Mhm.
do things. So just like Mary's daughter, just being able to be creative with the
Yeah.
ingredients that you do have, and that's,
Yeah.
I think for them is paid off, especially our son that's in Africa. He gets to be
Yeah.
remarkably creative with whatever he can find at the market. And
Yep.
so
That's really cool. That's really, really cool. So we've got all these foods that bring us memories and traditions and just fun times with the family. But I was just thinking as we kind of wrap up, we have individually foods for us that are just comfort food, just something we want. That's a comfort food. What is your comfort food? For me, it's pizza. I love pizza. And sometimes it's ice cream, but usually it's pizza. What's your
Well, my kids' favorite for me to make for them comfort food, there's a potato salad that has smoked sausage and feta cheese in it. So it's like a real potato salad. And
yeah, I'm just ordering out to Papa John's. If I want comfort food, I want somebody else to make it. But that sounds really good. Really good.
so
Mary, what's your comfort food?
Chocolate.
Chocolate.
oh, I can
Yeah.
go for that anytime.
Yeah. I was just eating a bunch of Dove dark chocolate right before we got on. So yes.
We went on a cruise one time,
Uh-huh.
a Mediterranean cruise, and we sailed from Athens to Istanbul, and one of the
Oof.
Greek islands. We went on this hike, and it's like 2,000 feet up and 2,000 feet back down. And it was
Yeah,
work.
because
It
you
was a
got to come back
hot summer day. So every step up, it's like, I'm earning my chocolate. I'm earning my
There you
chocolate.
go.
When we got back to was a small ship cruise, got back,
Uh-huh.
and there was no chocolate on the menu. So my notes for the cruise, you have to leave your feedback. You need to have chocolate at every meal.
Oh my
So-
gosh.
I like
Yes,
that.
Dan.
So my wife and I are both teachers, and so we have somewhere in this office, I won't say where it is, we call it our emergency reserve chocolate. So if we
That
both
the kids don't know about.
yeah, and it's just for if we've had a day
Yeah.
and we just need chocolate. We've
Yeah.
got, and we've always haven't, and we don't, no matter how desperately we want chocolate, if it's not a specific emergency for chocolate, we won't get into it. We have an
Oh, you're
emergency
so much
reserve of
better than
chocolate.
I am. I'd be
Yeah.
eating it.
Oh no,
Yeah.
but it's
Mine
nice
would
knowing it's
always be
there.
empty.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to go buy chocolate chips specifically for cookies because we've eaten all the chocolate chips just because we wanted chocolate.
Exactly. What about you, Melissa?
Oh, my comfort foods, and it's actually my kryptonite too, is donuts or pastries. But my comfort meal is
Yeah.
breakfast.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting. And
the
so
full breakfast with
whole
pancakes and
thing.
everything. Yeah,
Oh, that sounds good.
did you
Yeah.
have it for dinner or do you only have it for breakfast?
anytime.
Anytime. Yeah.
We eat
Oh,
breakfast. We eat breakfast a
there's
lot for
nothing,
dinner.
yeah, there's nothing like breakfast for dinner. I
Oh, yeah.
agree. Yeah, I love breakfast for dinner. Oh, you guys are making me hungry. It's too late to really eat anything here. Oh, you guys are so much fun. You're so much fun. So what I want you to do is I want you to send me all these recipes and any of the other ideas that you've thought of that we can add to the blog post for our viewers to be able to get a hold of, and we can share with them. And we would like for our viewers, what is your comfort food? What are your favorite recipes? Share with us. Let's have us a small little mini GenFriends cookbook. And then also, I'm going to put the link in for the Roots Tech cookbook. So I want you to add some things to that too, so that your recipes will get into the Roots Tech global family recipes, it's called. So anyway, food. Now I'm hungry. Thanks, everybody. Everybody have a great week, and it's so good to talk to you, and we will see you next time on GenFriends. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Um,
Right.